It's 100 years since Albert Baskerville led the first ever touring rugby league team into Britain. The All Golds arrived and international tours were born. The game owes a debt of gratitude to those pioneers of 1907. Living Kiwi legend Stacey Jones pulls on a jersey for the very last time. He said farewell to Catalan Dragons in September. Ruben Wiki also comes out of international retirement, as does ex-Warrington hero Nigel Vangenaar. And last week, Steve Price was in the pack that destroyed the Kiwis. Tonight he recreates the role of Dally Messenger. This is a major test for Tony Smith, the new British coach. And what a chance for Young Player of the Year Sam Burgess, who'll crown a remarkable season. And Jamie Rooney of Wakefield, he has the talent to push for a place in the Test team after a remarkable year at Wakefield. Only Danny Maguire backs up after the grand final last week in the Northern Union side led by Adrian Morley, out to capitalise on a captain's knock against France this summer. So we proudly remember those pioneers of 100 years ago, a squad that was covertly put together, nothing undercover here, as the best of the Northern Union take on the touring All Golds. It's a curtain raiser to the forthcoming three-test series between Great Britain and New Zealand, and there are places up for grabs. Yes, the test places for Great Britain and New Zealand are available here tonight, but we really must remember those pioneers of 1907 who brought international tours to the sport of rugby league. And here in the 21st century, can any of us really imagine what the game would be like without them? Well, Steve-O and Phil are here with me in the studio as we look forward to this match. Steve-O, I know that you're a great scholar of the game, you're a great historian of the game as well. It's a tremendous tribute to those pioneers 100 years ago that we're here tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think that any person, whether it be Australian, New Zealand, or any international, any player who has been very proudly pulled on a jumper, can just think back to Albert Baskerville, the man who was a real, well, adventurer, let's put it that way. He had a great vision, and of course he also asked those players from New Zealand who were former rugby union stars, he said to them, will you put your hands in your pocket and actually put £50 towards the expenses? They shared the profits when they went back. They actually got over £300 each, which is a fair old increase from £50. But when you think about it, £50 way back in 1907 was a lot of money. They took a big, big risk, and we should all be thankful that Mr. Baskerville and those players did that.
Indeed so. People like the great Dally Messenger joined the tour in 1907. Lance Todd, whose name lives on with the Lance Todd Trophy Award at Wembley in the Challenge Cup final. He was also in the 1907 All Golds. And tonight, we're going to play under the 1907 scoring system, Phil. It's going to be 3 points for a try and 2 points for any goal, no matter how it's kicked. Penalty, conversion, or a drop goal. So it's a 2-pointer, not a 1-pointer tonight. What sort of game do you think we'll see, though?
We might see one with lots of drop goals in it, which would suit Steve-O, wouldn't it? I think we'll see an entertaining one. There's no pressure really on either of these sides. It's not as if it's a knockout match. It certainly isn't a Test series win at stake either. So I think the fact that there is less pressure means that players can play a more expansive type of game. Well, New Zealand have a lot of players who like naturally to keep the ball alive in the tackle, and I think they'll be encouraged to do that tonight. Stacey Jones will probably be the key driver behind their side, but anybody who's ever played against New Zealand know how difficult they can be. So many key players who are good at getting their arms free in the tackle. Jones will provide the direction, and I think the rest of them will be sent on lines and missions directed by this fella really down the middle of the field. From a Great Britain point of view, we may see an element of rustiness. There's Stephen Price, of course, who at 33 years of age has just had actually his best season ever in rugby league. It just goes to show that prop forwards sometimes mature far later than other positions. But several of the New Zealand players haven't played, a game for 7 weeks, so then that'll be an element maybe of rustiness. The timing may be somewhat out, but when you come to the Great Britain side, I think the big thing for them really is to set the series off to a roll. I know it isn't a test match, but this is the start of Great Britain's preparation and Tony Smith's job in preparing the side for the World Cup next year. You see his counterpart there, Wayne Bennett, in the dressing room for the New Zealand team.
Yes, absolutely. The All Golds, who are playing tonight in all black, as you have seen, and well, there are test places, allegedly, Steve-O, up for grabs. Danny Maguire, according to everyone, gets a chance to get the jump on Leon Price for the number 6 jersey for Great Britain. Who knows, any of these all-goals players could force their way into the touring side for next week at Huddersfield.
Yeah, and I think it's wonderful. Okay, you know, Ben Westwood at the expense of Westwood, that we have young Burgess will take his position. He'll want to certainly show his calibre. He has had a very, very good season. And also, when you look at it, Jamie Rooney. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we really only have Rob Barrow as a regular halfback that's going to be in that Test squad. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Rooney to really show his calibre tonight. And I really think that he'll have a very, very big game. And it'll be interesting to see whether we're going to get to the combination with Maguire.
We shall see. As Steve-O has alluded to there have been one or two problems in the build-up to this match for both the coaches, Tony Smith of the Northern Union and Wayne Bennett of the All Goals. Burgess comes in for the Northern Union, but as we go out to Bill Arthur to sample some of the pre-match atmosphere, but a bit of disruption to the All Goals lineup as well.
Well, not so much the All Golds, Eddie. It's going to be for the Kiwis further down the track. The word from the All Golds camp, though, is that David Kidwell will be heading home next week. Now, an enormously influential player for the Kiwis, but there is a family illness which necessitates his swift return home. So that is going to be a blow for them. You mentioned Ben Westwood not being available tonight. That is a big disappointment for the Warrington fans here to see their player of the season, in fact, in action tonight. But he suffered a reaction to a medication he took a couple of days ago. Hasn't been very well, so the decision was made to pull him out. Not a bad turnout here tonight. Of course, there are other attractions going on this evening, but the fans are getting here, and they've been outside to greet the rest of the Kiwi party, who will be here and watching and interested to see how some of their fellow countrymen go on, because as you mentioned, there's going to be pressure on for places between these two sides, so there'll be some big performances, I expect, tonight. And interesting to see how the haka goes on. It's a specially adapted version of the haka here tonight, especially adapted by the All Golds to commemorate 100 years, and the start of it, led by Ruben Wiki, will reflect that. So that's going to be interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see how fired up they are, because apparently Wayne Bennett, in charge of the side, is not just here for a weekend in Blighty. They are pumped up for this game, as you'd expect any side coached by Wayne Bennett.
Indeed so, you're right there, Bill. Wayne Bennett said it took him just a second to agree to travel halfway around the world to be in charge of this all-goal team. And he is there inside the dressing room as we celebrate 100 years of International Rugby League. 1907, very much a pivotal year, introduction of the playoff system, and then the arrival of the All Goals on September the 30th, 1907. But the Northern Union side, the Great Britain Test trial side, Tony Smith has really called it, looks like this: Platt, Hodgson, Gleeson, Eamon and Rayner, Maguire and Rooney. The forwards, Morley, who's the skipper, Newton, Lynch, Tickle, Wild, and the young player of the year, Sam Burgess. He takes the place of Ben Westwood, who is out. John Clark of Warrington's on the bench, as is Moore, Sykes and Coley. And Tony Smith, as I say, is the coach. Now the All Goals, they have Perrott at fullback, then Kenny Dowell, Vanganar, Tupi and Tupo, Luluai and Jones. Forwards, Price, who is the man recreating the Dali Messenger role here, Fayumu, Wiki, who is the skipper, Kidwell, Lauatiti and Louis Anderson, who will be back here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium next year in the colours of the Warrington Wolves, with Eastwood, Lauaki, Gutenbiel and Stanley on the bench for the coach, Wayne Bennett. Well, rugby league supporters all over the world owe an enormous debt to the all-goal pioneers of 100 years ago. Without international tours, rugby league would have been so much the poorer. The Kiwis have always been very popular visitors to Great Britain, of course, over the years. The original All Goals became Rugby League's first world champions, you know, 1907-08. Before departing, they beat Australia under rugby union rules. They picked up Dali Messenger en route. Then they beat the Northern Union's finest in 2 of 3 tests. And on their way home, introduced rugby league to Eastern Australia, completing another 2-1 success. And under the great Albert Henry Baskerville, the 28-man band of rugby union rebels spent 9 months away from home. The squad contained Lance Todd, as I said earlier, whose name is such a part of the fabric of the British game, and the jewel in the crown, Dali Messenger. The all-black rugby union tourists had triumphed in England 2 years earlier, but Baskerville knew they hadn't taken on the tough men up north. He wanted to take them on and beat the best, and that's what he did. And how fitting that Stacey Jones pulls down the curtain on his glittering career at both international level and club level as well. 46 times he played for his country. He was the 2002 Golden Boot winner as the best player in the world. But Tony Smith comes fresh from grand final glory at Old Trafford last Saturday night to the international arena. This is the first match of his full-time tenure in charge of the British game. And of course the serious stuff, the really serious stuff, starts at Huddersfield next week with the first of the 3 Gillette tests against the New Zealanders. This is a nice little warm-up, and of course we have the pre-match national anthems to be sung by Prestdale School Choir from Ware in Hertfordshire. Two versions of the New Zealand national anthem, one in the native tongue and one in English. And now the national anthem of Great Britain. And Steve-O suggested before the match this should be God Save the King going back to 1907. I don't think so, though. Player, of course, this year. Great Britain captain against France in June. He impressed Tony Smith that night. The first Warrington Great Britain captain since the great Mike Gregory. And Mike Gregory, I'm sure, watching at home tonight. And very much in everyone's thoughts here, Mike, at Warrington. And keep up the fight. And now we will have the traditional haka, or is it as traditional as we expected? As Bill said earlier on, there will be a specially adapted version of the haka here tonight, but before that, the commemorative photo that will be a collector's piece, no doubt, in the years to come. Just one other line about the great Albert Henry Baskerville. He was a remarkable young man for a 25-year-old, but sadly he died of pneumonia in Brisbane on the very last leg of the tour in 1907. So there was triumph and tragedy 100 years ago.
Certainly was, and when he passed away, in fact, the All Golds were playing a game up in Brisbane, and instead of going into the shower, they actually went straight to the hospital in their boots and their kit, because he was fading badly, and he sadly never made it back to his homeland. But what an entrepreneur at 25 years of age to take such a wonderful risk. And as I said before, every person that has pulled on an international jumper for every country in rugby league, we owe a great debt to that man.
Indeed so. They played 35 matches in 1907, won 19, lost 14 and drew 2. It started with a 25-6 win at Branley on October the 9th, ended 22nd of February 1908, winning at St Helens. Here's the haka. When the Kiwis are on these shores.
And you could see a quick glance there of Terry Newton and Adrian Morley, quite a few people, and there of course is Steve Prescott, who will be actually kicking off this wonderful game tonight. But a lot of people think that this may be just a run in the park, Eddie. Not when you've got the likes of Mr. Newton and Mr. Morley running around. This will be a bit fiery.
Yes, it could easily be. And Steve Prescott, fresh from his walk from Hull to Old Trafford last week, raising £50,000 in the process. He is going to kick off this Centenary International here at Warrington tonight. He played in a match at Nosey Road himself not too long ago as part of his fundraising activities. And Steve Prescott now will get this game underway for us. He still has it. Great moment for Steve Prescott. And he's looking very well, isn't he? He really is. And he get a great round of applause from everyone inside the stadium tonight. So now let battle commence for real. It's the Northern Union against the All Goals. 100 years ago, we are recreating history here tonight, and we're in motion. And it'll be interesting to see who will force their way into the respective test sides of both Great Britain and New Zealand this time next week when the Gillette Series begins in earnest at Huddersfield. That is Kenny Dowell, Sean Kenny Dowell, the 19-year-old from the Sydney Roosters.
Well, both sides were just trying to set themselves into some sort of pattern. The defensive is pretty good so far from the Northern Union.
There's Louis Anderson. He will be gracing this turf next year in the colours of the Warrington Wolves, or at least the Warrington supporters hope he will be. That's David Kidwell. Good tackling low down. And now the ball with Thomas Lulawai, and not the best kick from Lulawai, operating at number 6 today. He's played at scrum half for Wigan throughout the course of this season. That's Michael Platt running it back for the Northern Union. Here now Terry Newton, and it might be classed as a friendly Centenary International, a showpiece game, but as you say, Steve-O, between Morley and Newton, there'll be nothing friendly here tonight.
No, they're getting to each other, especially the forwards. It's wonderful to see Ruben Wiki as well, just doing the rounds. And Johnny Smith, the Northern Union coach, will be fully aware of Stacey Jones's involvement by the All Goals. They've got to keep him under lock and key.
This is Andy Lynch getting the Northern Union to the halfway line, watched by Tony Smith. And Danny Maguire, who was playing in the grand final last week, had his celebrations of the Leeds Rhinos' success cut short on Sunday morning when his club coach and the new Great Britain coach said that he would be wanted for the Northern Union here tonight. This now is the fullback Sam Perrott for the All Goals. Phil Clark, a great night.
You know, it is, and I said before, really, there's so little pressure on the New Zealand side that very rarely can you play as a professional with the freedom that the All Goals have here tonight. You know, they've trained and played all season under the pressure to perform, pick up 2 competition points, then they get to playoffs and knockout games, but here they can just show the skills, interlink as best as possible, and in a way, really relax and enjoy it.
It's looked a little high, did that tackle. Wayne Bennett, the man in the middle there, the coach of this All Goals team. A great international in his own right is Wayne Bennett. And it bounces that ball into the arms of Gareth Rayner.
Good kick and chase there, but good work by Adrian Morley. Tony Smith, the coach, has obviously said to him, come on, Mr. Morley, your job is to keep Stacey Jones quiet, put him under a lot of pressure there.
Well, Adrian Morley, you would imagine, will be named by Tony Smith tomorrow in the Great Britain squad. So too probably Martin Gleeson. 1 or 2 others though out there, Sean McRae, who will be looking to catch the eye of the new coach tonight.
Yes, I think so, Eddie. It's a great opportunity, isn't it, for any player playing tonight, on both sides really, but particularly the Northern Union team, because I believe that there are some spots available for Great Britain selection. Tony Smith probably already has an idea of who his 17 is, but he may be a little bit choosy between 1 or 2 positions, and I think tonight is given an opportunity to do so. The All Golds, on the other hand, of course, they have a great opportunity now to show the spirit they showed in the haka. I think they've been absolutely tremendous in the build-up to the game and everything they've done. And what they need to do is take on field. Phil Clark rightly has spoken about the idea of they're not under any real pressure. But, you know, when you put a group of Kiwis together and 1 Australian, I suspect we're still waiting to see that great big clash that, you know, someone's going to come up with a big tackle or a big run or do something. But when they get together as a group, they have tremendous spirit, and I expect them to start that way. Hopefully they'll be able to finish the same way. It should be a terrific game.
This is Fai Uima, and he gets the ball away to Stacey Jones, and Stacey Jones will take on Michael Platt, and Platt with Hodgson is there to bring Stacey Jones to ground. It's Lauatiti who's the dummy half. There's the hooker again. Down the line they go, looking for the winger, Tami Tupu of the Bradford Bulls. But Fai Uimu's kick was just too deep.
And a great run from the hooker as well. Back on the inside, Stacey Jones just didn't have the legs. Good work by Michael Platt that just pushed him out wide. Back on the inside, as every scrum half and hooker should be doing. Good work there by Hodgson, but Michael Platt just lined him up very well indeed.
Yes, if you did your homework on David Fayuma, you would know that he has a wicked left foot step, an absolute unbelievable left foot step. Very, very quick, very sharp. Doesn't always play 80 minutes for his club back in Australia, the North Queensland Cowboys, but he shares that role, and he is a tremendous, generally as a bench player for the Cowboys, but of course tonight he gets his opportunity to start in this team.
Yes, he was substituting both test matches against Australia this year. That's Michael Platt, the ball a little bit untidily, but it gets its way to Danny Tickle in the end. Kidwell got to him, but a good offload to Platt. Tackled by Luluai and Vanganar over on that far side. Newton was the dummy half. They go down the short side with Maguire. Big hit on Maguire.
Good to see as well from the Northern Union. You can see that they're wanting to turn in the tackle. Got good support work, and that's good work. Great stuff by Morley. That's how to get over the advantage line.
Plays the ball on halfway, the kick down the line, but straight into the arms of the full-back Perrott. And he is greeted by Rooney, and also there Andy Lynch.
Not the best kick there from Terry Newton, and in fact it was a very slow chase.
1 or 2 of these players, in fact most of these players have not played for just about a month, so there'll be a little bit of ring rustiness. No ring rustiness though there on the half of the all goals, with Clinton Tupi taking that tackle, the third of this set of 6. Here now is Stephen Price. He was in the Australian pack last week that inflicted the 58-0 defeat against the New Zealanders before they left home for their tour of Great Britain. That's good defence. That's terrific work from Kirk Enoch. There's Kidwell again, comes back now to Stacey Jones. Jones with the Right foot, the kick over to the far side, measured perfectly as you would expect from Stacey Jones.
Just couldn't get to him in time, but a great kick. He knows the importance as the former Kiwi scrum half, how he get down into that section, try to apply the pressure early in the game. Wayne Bennett will be asking them to try to get into their faces, maybe just force the error.
Wayne Bennett knows that lack of match practice could be a problem for both sides. 8 of the Northern Union team haven't played for a month. All goals Sam Perrott and Sean Kennydale, last played September the 1st. That's good movement there though by Gleeson to Hodgson, but the ball has been stolen by Louis Anderson and he will go over for the first try. Now the video referee tonight is Steve Ganson, and Ashley Klein has asked him just to check the validity of this score.
Well, he wants to see whether he's ripped it out. It's certainly involved, but is it ripped out and then knocked on, or does David Hodgson get a fingertip to it?
Keep working on it.
We'll see Anderson come through, and that'll be a knock-on.
We'll stay on, Dean.
It was going forward, and this will probably prove it. Back on the inside. Good work by Gleeson. Well, watch the first impact. The ball doesn't have to hit the ground, but it's reefed away, so that'll be a knock-on. That should be no try.
Just wondering, Steve, were the video referees around in 1907?
Do me a favour. You'll be saying I played next. Well, I'll be very surprised if this is given, because it was going forward from Louis Anderson. It hit Hodgson, the winger, no doubt about it, but it was going forward. Should be no try.
Well, that's your view. What does Steve Ganson think about it all? As Louis Anderson looks at the big screen, waits for the decision from Steve Ganson. Keeping his fingers crossed.
It'll surprise me if this is given, but nothing does these days, does it?
No try, scrum, attack. That will be great, the Northern Union, won't it?
Well, it should be. It's deemed to have knocked on, as Anderson.
If Stacey Jones has got hold of the ball, he thinks they're on the attack, and the Northern Union's on the defence.
There's a knock-on, and it doesn't matter if Hodgson gets to it.
Northern Union with the attacking side going into that play, Eddie.
Okay.
It gets down again, doesn't it, to that stripping rule, which is still one of the most confusing and contentious issues that we have in our game. I agree with that decision, by the way. The point is, though, that you've got to discuss whether or not it's the attacking player. It's really his responsibility to control the football, yet the defender there has really forced it loose. It's a right decision, but you can just see the confusion that we have over that rule. And I know, whenever you discuss rules with anybody, the stripping rule is always the main one that comes up. It's always a bone of contention.
Well, it's a notice of intent by the All Goals that they're not here for a picnic, and they're here to win the match.
Well, a message would have gone out to the winger, Hodgson, that, as Sean McRae was saying, hang on to the damn thing.
There's a charge down, and it's picked up brilliantly. Oh, and then it's just flicked off the fingertips of Terry Newton.
He was away. There was no one at home.
Good work, though, in defence from Ruben Wiki.
Good work, though, by Newton. He knows that he should have taken that. It wasn't a bad pass at all. It just got overexcited. There's a charge down. That meant it was A-OK. Good work from Burgess. Should have got it.
Ball goes to ground. It's picked up by David Hodgson. David Hodgson, who was at Salford in 2007, will be at Huddersfield in 2008. Michael Platt, the Bradford Bulls fullback. 14 tries for the Bulls this year, but none since the Millennium Magic weekend in Cardiff in May. This is a drive forward now by Stephen Wild. Stephen Wild gets to his feet eventually. Will play the ball to Terry Newton. It's Morley again. But a solid All Goals defence. Newton from dummy half. Here is Rooney. Rooney gives it width and finds Maguire. Maguire then looks for the link, and it's there with Platt. Platt gets it out to Rayner. Tackled by Nigel Van Genaar. Former Warrington had just one season here, Nigel Van Genaar. Well, not here, it was at Wilderspool in those days. This is Newton, that ball touched by that man Vangenaar, and that will be head and feed to the Northern Union.
And full credit to the Northern Union lads trying to keep the ball alive. Took a huge gamble there. You could see that Nigel Vangenaar out of position. That was try time. Rayner at a simple run into the left-hand corner. Took a huge gamble there, Sean McRae.
He sure did. I don't know whether Nigel Vangenaar these days would have the pace to have run 90 metres and scored. In fact, I'm absolutely convinced that he wouldn't. The two things that he's noted for in this game, one is intercepts and two is scoring tries from dummy half. And I'm sure he'll make a mark somewhere in this match.
Here comes Stephen Wild again. Was named originally at loose forward, playing in the second row though because Ben Westwood is out. And he's replaced by Sam Burgess. This, though, is Maguire. Good movement, and this is Michael Platt. And he gets to within 2 metres of the line for the Northern Union. Jamie Rooney waits the dummy half, and will give it then to Maguire. He fires the pass wide. The ball goes to ground. That was a knock-on by the Northern Union, and it will be head and feed to the All Goals.
Pretty solid defence by the All Goals. Got there in numbers. Yeah, that's good work there by Kenny Dowell. Watch how Dowell just goes for the ball and all effort. And you can see Rayner just, Yeaman, sorry, just couldn't hang on to the ball. Just dipping in front.
I think the challenge tonight for Jamie Rooney, Eddie, is to get his hands on the ball and get more involved in the game. Great Britain have kicked the ball 4 times, and only once has he had the responsibility of doing that, when I think he's probably the best field kicker that the Northern Union have out there tonight. If you look at a lot of the attacking forays, they've gone to the far side of the field, the left side, which seems to be controlled by Danny Maguire, who does look at the standout player in this field and clearly the one who played in a winning grand final side last week. Rooney's responsibility, command the ball more for your troops on the right.
Here's Stephen Price again for the All Goals. We saw a glimpse of Tony Smith over on the far side. He says that this is the 4th test as far as he is concerned. More likely, though, it will be a test trial for the 17 men in white who are on duty here tonight. Can any of them force their way into the lineup at Huddersfield in 7 days' time? That, I'm sure, will be the challenge that is thrown down to them. Luluai, the Wigan scrum half, playing standoff tonight with the kick. It's collected by David Hodgson, very close, as you see, to his own goal line. Good chase. Good chase there, led by Ali Lauatiti. And Great Britain against New Zealand, you can see with us next Saturday, 5:30, Sky Sports 2. It's in high definition as well on HD2, that's channel 409. And we're with you for the next 3 Saturdays for this Gillette Test series between Great Britain and the Kiwis, in a hugely entertaining series it could well be as well. Good ball that from Newton, great burst here from Lynch, support both ways, Maguire, oh, he just manages to hang on, and Maguire goes over under the sticks for the first try of the night. Sweeping move from the Northern Union, and it's a 3-point try tonight. 3-point try for Danny Maguire. Well, it was a real piece of juggling skill, wasn't it, from Maguire at pace? But he managed to hang on to it. There was support for the runner both sides. Maguire got the call, Maguire gets the try.
Super run, wasn't it? Back on the inside, good support. Look at this for juggling talent. That was outstanding. It had to be as well. You could see that the All Goals defence had come right through. Back on the inside. That was good stuff as well. None better than Danny Maguire. Star last Saturday in the grand final. You just got a feeling that that was coming.
And when Burgess brought the line, I think the most pleasing aspect of this game so far for Tony Smith was the fact that there were 4 players in support. When you look at Great Britain's efforts last year in the Tri-Nations, very often they made as many breaks as New Zealand or Australia in those matches, but they didn't convert them into tries. I guess at the highest level, that's what you define as class, and that the class really wasn't there for our boys. But tonight, that was a fantastic example. I'm sure something that they've spoken about and worked on. At this level of rugby league, you have to convert your chances into points.
Well, Jamie Rooney has added the extras. It's 5-0 to the Northern Union. 3 points for a try tonight, 2 points for a goal of any sort. Conversion, penalty or drop goal. Tony Smith and Steve McNamara alongside him, the coach and assistant, quietly satisfied by what they've seen in the opening 10-15 minutes here.
And that was good coaching by Tony Smith. You know, he's a big fella, isn't he, youngster Sam Burgess? And not surprisingly, they pinpointed Stacey Jones. Sometimes he can be just a little bit off balance, Jones, when he goes into the tackle, and that was just the case when the big fella went straight through him.
This is Andy Lynch again. Lynch gets to his feet, will play the ball here to Terry Newton, goes down that left channel to try score Maguire, who gets the ball away. And Ranganar with the tackle on Danny Tickle.
He kept referring, Eddie, to the fact that, you know, it's quite a lot of the Northern Union side were, oh, that's a bit of a slip there as they're getting the kick, about trying to force their way into the GB squad for the Kiwi Test Series. I must say that Sam Burgess has really run himself to water. He's everywhere at the moment, both in attack and defence.
Penalty here, though, for the All Goals, because Terry Newton, as you see, running straight across diagonally as they play the ball, and the kick from Jamie Rooney just lost his footing at the vital moment. That's why the All Goals here have this field position that they will now try and exploit after the penalty.
Will they do a set move here?
Fayumu to start it off, finds Price. And back to Fayumu. Here is Stacey Jones. Stacey Jones is all wrapped up by Stephen Wild. Surely Stacey Jones will not be making another comeback next week, will he, Sean?
I wouldn't have thought so, Eddie, but you never know with Stacey. He's had a few, hasn't he? But, you know, just watching him out there tonight, again, I'm keeping an eye on a lot of these all-goal players, because I just want to, you know, see how they're going physically and mentally. And Stacey Jones is just sitting back, taking his time, directing people around, you know, conducting it like an orchestra as he always does. And I do believe that Stacey Jones could keep playing for several more years the way that he plays the game.
This is Stephen Price. He's trying to burrow his way to the line. He might have got this ball down here. No, he's held up, says the referee, Ashley Clines. Good defence that from the Northern Union.
Yeah, they got there in numbers, and they had to, because the big prop forward, he was trying to swivel away. Big smile to the
2 feet, Danny! 2 feet!
to Terry Newton there.
But he got his first test try last week, did Stephen Price.
Great
International against New Zealand in Wellington. And here's a penalty for interference by Martin Gleeson on next year's teammate, Louis Anderson.
He came up with a wonderful defensive tackle there, and then just went for the second grab.
Price again looking for that try line.
Will the hooker go on his own? Fayumu.
There he is. No, he spins the ball back to Stacey Jones. Oh, and the man slipped. It was Maguire. Oh dear. Ranganar immediately gets up, and Danny Tickle,
Easy, guys.
with a lazy arm. It was a real haymaker, this. Oh dear. It's worse every time you see it.
Well, at first I thought he was just lazy, but he certainly picked him out.
New Zealand had a player sent off last week in their test match against Australia. It's completely wrong-footed, isn't it? Momentum going the wrong way. It's a bad instinct.
To be fair, he pulled away at the last moment. Not surprisingly, Ashley Clines put this on report. He didn't follow through with it. He had him lined up.
It's a penalty for the high shot. The referee has now indicated the mark, so that's where play must restart. And here come the All Goals in the shape once again of Ruben Wiki. 55 caps for New Zealand, the world record. Fayumu again, and on the deck he gets it away to Jones. And this is the second rower, David Kidwell. And Kidwell trying to get to the corner, but the Northern Union there in numbers to keep him out. He play the ball to Ranganar. Here is Jones. Jones to Louis Anderson. This turf at Hannibal Jones Stadium. Pretty lush, players slipping and sliding all over the place. But can Lawatiti produce something here? Well, he was looking for the touch judge. And he actually might have found the man with the microphone.
I think it was further than that. That was halfway to witness this. Well, he's often produced the basketball pass in the past.
Just make sure you're careful, Danny, all right?
It's almost like an NFL. He's gone past the line of scrimmage, not allowed to throw the ball forward, aren't you?
Yeah,
in American football.
He raises his arm and says, just a bit of a mistake.
Wayne Bennett a bit stern-faced.
He doesn't show much emotion, does Wayne Bennett.
But he's another international, I was going to say entrepreneur, but maybe that is not the right way to describe him, but he's a great fan of the international game and an expansionist, you're right, Phil. He said it took him a second to decide to come as coach to this all-goals team for this, what he sees as a very important celebratory international.
Well, we often say, you know, we talk about Baskerville being a man thinking forward, and so was Wayne Bennett, because he was instrumental in reviving and creating the Tri-Nations, which I think has rejuvenated international rugby league.
Absolutely. That's the last tackle here for the Northern Union. They're almost on halfway. He comes back to Maguire. He will look to Rooney again. This time Rooney manages to keep his foothold. The kick is over the top of the winger Kenny Dowell, picked up by Sam Perrott, his Sydney Roosters teammate. And up comes Morley. Make sure there was no progress further forward.
Interesting to see how that Tony Smith, the Northern Union coach, has decided to use again Adrian Morley. He's running around, he's got the job of trying to force the pressure on Stacey Jones when he gets to the kick. Whether he can last the full game doing that, we'll have to wait and see.
Good play here from the winger Sean Kenny Dowell, and he's still going. It took Terry Newton to get him down on tackle number 4.
Great step, wasn't it, from the winger?
Kidwell, great run from him. Oh, Kidwell has lost the ball. Oh, he's going backwards. So the hooker, David Fayumu, carries it forward. This is the last one.
We haven't seen an attacking kick into the in-goal area as yet. Surely they'll do it now.
Oh, Stacey Jones wide. It's a real test of this for David Hodgson, and he plucks it out of the air. Great play from Hodgson.
Great confidence, hasn't he, Hodgson? Look at this, leaps up, a la Australian rule style. Under a lot of pressure as well. Tupou was there. You're just getting a few glimpses of what the old goals can produce. It was a tremendous run by the winger, Kenny Dowell. For a big man, Sean, he's nifty on his feet, isn't he?
He's very quick, and it's a great story, Steve-O, with Sean Kenny Dowell. He came from a fairly troublesome area. There's a penalty there to the Northern Union team. He came from a fairly troublesome area in Auckland, and he just wanted to get out of that place. And he arrived in Sydney, went to a backpackers hotel, landed there, had a trial with the Sydney Roosters, and, well, history shows you now where he is. He's now on a sort of a verge, I suppose, of certainly in the thoughts of the New Zealand selectors, and he's played a lot of first-team football now at the Sydney Roosters, and he's a very accomplished player. He's only a young boy too. I think he's only 19 years of age.
This is Andy Lynch for the Northern Union. 5-0 they lead. Try for 3 points and the conversion for 2. Playing under 1907 scoring system here, remember. And Kidwell trying to spin his opposite number. Danny Tickle to the ground, does so eventually. Here is Lynch again. And Lynch is grounded 10 metres short of the line. 4 tackles gone. Newton to Maguire. Maguire just stumbles his way really forward and is halted by his Leeds Rhinos teammate Ali Lau-Titi. And this is the substitute Loaki.
Wait. Go.
And Owen Guttenbeil, we'll see him back in Super League next year with the Castleford Tigers. He was a real star of their National League 1 Grand Final success against Widnes a couple of weeks ago. 2 tries in that match at Headingley.
Good work by the old goals. They've just upped the tempo a little bit from the dummy half position. A little bit lackadaisical at the start of this game. Quite happy just to have feeded away, but now they're getting a little bit of a run up.
Thomas Luluai at dummy half, and Guttenbeil, and it's picked up by Kidwell, who gets one in the back for his pains. He fumbled it, but he went backwards. Newton was on him in a flash, and here now is Stacey Jones again. That's the kick in. Goes in between Michael Platt and David Hodgson, but Hodgson tidies up for the Northern Union. Will run it back. Only as far as those 3, though. Platt waits dummy half. Gives it then to Gareth Rayner. Rayner spins away from a couple of would-be tacklers. likes this ground, Gareth Rayner, but not on that occasion, a knock-on. He's scored tries in Hull's last 4 visits to the Halliwell-Jones Stadium.
Just trying to do a little bit too much deep in your own quarter when safety first would have been the better option. Has the speed, that's for sure.
See, they're those plays, aren't they, that coaches look at and say, why did you do that? But if he hits the man and hits the mark, the player goes through a hole and we could be talking about a try at the other end of the field. So it's the risk factors involved in rugby league sometimes. Gareth Rayner had bounced along nicely, beaten a couple of people. He saw an opportunity, just probably didn't execute it quite as well, but you can't blame the guy for taking some sort of risk at times.
No, and I suppose in many ways we keep forgetting that, you know, rugby league is strong, it's fast, but this is a celebration game.
Here's Guttenbeil again. Guttenbeil goes down on the end of the second tackle. There's the hooker, Fayumu. And it's Lauatiti using his strength, and Lauatiti will get over, will he? Or is he held up? Yes, he is. He's down.
It's a try.
Ali Lauatiti, fresh from the grand final, captain of the New Zealand side that beat England here in 2005, and in the best form of his year. Late on, it came in the playoffs, he carried it through at Old Trafford, and he's continuing here tonight at Warrington. And the All Goals capitalise on the mistake by the Northern Union.
All came about by Rayner trying to offload deep in his own quarter. You shouldn't do that, but take nothing away from the skills of Lauatiti. They really should have gone for the legs, and they failed to do that. He had the upper body strength. When a big fella like this gets it, you've got to go somewhere down. They didn't. It was all grab up top. Too late. Good try. And they paid the price for the error of the Northern Union. All goals. Back in it.
Very much so. Ali Lauatiti's try. A decisive try against St Helens last week at Old Trafford. And an inspirational performance from him. And Stacey Jones now to try and add the extras and level it up at 5 apiece. Just to say again, 3 for a try tonight, 2 for a goal of any sort. Being played under the 1907 scoring system, and Stacey Jones doesn't miss those. 5-all here at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium. Northern Union and the All Goals in this Centenary International.
Big man. Upper body strength, you've got to make sure that someone goes down low, and they failed to do it. They had the numbers there, did Northern Union. And it just shows you, even at any level in rugby league, if you make a mistake, you can pay the price, and they have done that.
Steve, if this is a celebration game, as you pointed out, then there'll be no family celebrating more than Richard Moores at the moment. Do you know what? It's been an amazing 12 months for him. Almost lost to the game at the highest level. He's on in the jersey number 15 for the Northern Union. Just made 2 tackles. And what an amazing season. He went to Wakefield, given a chance, and boy, he had a fantastic season there. Probably reached a maturity in his personality, which made the biggest impact necessarily about his ability. People have always known that he can be big, strong and aggressive. But he matured as a person, and it's had such a positive impact on his career. Great to see him out there playing at this level.
Very much so, you're right there, Phil. He has had the best year of his career, and look at this from Luluai. Thomas Luluai. Oh, he's got away from Platt. A beautiful ball to Vangalar, even better to Kidwell, even better to Lauatiti. Fantastic try. Ali Lauatiti, a sensational try from the All Goals. Look what it means to them. And the home support, rich in their applause for that. Ali Lauatiti's second try of the match, a sensational try.
Unbelievable. We can point the finger again at very poor defence, trying to scrab at the top when you've got to go for the legs again, and it's going to be Lauatiti that's going to finish it off. Thomas Luluai back on the inside. They were all there, banging it, looking for it. Come on, give it to me. I'll have 2. Right the way back on their own 30. You can't just go for their arms. Upper body. You've got to go for the legs. And when they finally get to him, even that one was over the top. But the support play was outstanding. Doesn't come much better than that.
Great try, Ali Lauatiti. What a week he's had. Grand final success, grand final try, inspirational moment at Old Trafford when he raised the crowd and raised his team to beat St Helens. And he's just given the All Goals the lead here, which Stacey Jones should convert. And he does. It's 10-5 to the All Goals. Outstanding try from Ali Lautiti and the All Goals.
There it is, quite simple. You don't go high. He wasn't just tickled there was a fault on that occasion. There's about 4 to 5 could have got to him earlier. But the support play, oh, that is superb stuff. They're enjoying themselves now, they're expressing themselves. A little bit shaky to start with, but the All Goals now are glittering.
Half an hour gone and the All Goals ahead by 10 points to 5. Another charge forward by this substitute, Lauaki. And Thomas Luluai, he was at the heartbeat of that All Goals try. Here's Gutenbiel again, halted by Morley. And also in there was Richard Moore. Now this is an international occasion, so let's give you some news from the World Cup qualifying tournament. And Ireland have beaten Russia 58 points to 18 today. Russia led 10-0 early on, but the assistant coach Barry McDermott and the manager of the Irish team Terry O'Connor will be delighted. It means that Lebanon will take on Ireland now in the final pool game live on Sky Sports on Friday the 2nd of November.
They're on that one.
And Scotland will take on Wales that weekend as well, the 4th of November, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the winner of that, providing Wales win by more than 7 points, they will go to Australia next year. If the Scots win, they will go forward. It's not all over though for the loser of that match, because they can still qualify later on down the track. But we'll keep you in touch with the World Cup progress here on Sky Sports, because as I told you last week during the grand final, the World Cup will be live with us in 2008.
Wait, hold on.
Not surprisingly, Tony Smith, the coach, has thrown out John Clark out there because they really do need shaking up. But the message has to be, hey, come on, you've got to tackle.
Inside.
Rooney's kick downfield. He started with the victory against the French, did Tony Smith. A 42-14 win at Headingley in June, and 6 of his side that day are featuring here tonight.
2, surrender! Stand, Marlon!
With all due respect to the French, this is, even though it's just the All Goals and not the full-fledged Kiwi test team, this is a little sterner test that he is facing here tonight. And here is Greg Eastwood. Well, the All Goals, another substitute on.
They've got the tails up, and rightly so. Two tremendous tries from Lautiti.
Gutenbiel now.
A little bit of fire in the belly, and again another offload.
That's the last tackle.
Wait,
Ruben Wiki pulled down. Here is Stacey Jones, and it's a drop goal attempt. It's wide. It was a 2-point drop goal attempt, of course, tonight. That's why he went for it. You're down there, you might as well have a bash, Steve-O, with 2 points at stake.
No pressure, is there? He knew it as well. Big grin all over his face. He's loving this. And I really do feel that this is his last game. We know he's come back so many times, but it'll be a wonderful celebration for him if they could finish up on the winning side. Long way to go, of course, but a little bit more fire is needed by the Northern Union.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Steve. I think Tony Smith may have tried to get a message out via his runners to say, look, you've got to try and match the physicality, because there's no doubt the All Goals have become a little more physical, and you know that because they're getting more offloads. When you get more offloads in tackle, it means that you're winning the collision, you're playing with a lot more confidence, you're obviously bending the line, you're getting your nose through, and I just get a feeling for the last 5 to 10 minutes that the All Goals have had pretty much the dominance of the game. I think the Northern Union have got to fight fire with fire.
One or two of the All Goals forwards, though, just plodding back here, feeling the pinch, I think, as we hit the 34-minute mark. By the way, as we say, we are playing under the scoring system of 1907. The drop goal went to 1 point in 1974. And in 1983, 4 points were awarded for a try. Tonight it's 3 points for the try, 2 points for a goal of any sort. Platt diffuses that situation.
Well, at half-time, I think Mr. Platt should have a look at his studs, because every time he's touched the football, he's slipping and sliding all over the place. It wasn't the best kick there from Stacey Jones, but they'll be buoyed by the fact that they are in the lead at the moment.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Across the chest, it was all right.
It was, and he felt that, did Paul Sykes. Here goes Richard Moore, though.
Good quick play of the ball.
Yes, it's Maguire. And the support is there out wide with Rayner. Rayner comes back inside. And it bounces. And still bounces, and Coley got to that. Coley, well, he couldn't keep it. And the All Goals have it back. Stacey Jones was quickly on the loose ball. Well, they're trying to offload a la All Gold style there. It didn't come off.
To be fair, though, they kept the ball alive, and that was one good thing. It was a tremendous passage of play, and it all came about by the fact that they wanted to get on with the job, the Northern Union. Made the half break, play the ball quickly. That's where he'll catch out this All-Gold side.
This is Ruben Wiki. Wiki will play the ball to Fayumu, who gives it to Guttenbiel. That's the last tackle for the All Goals. 4 minutes before half-time. Fayumu again. Here is Stacey Jones. High kick looking for the winger out wide, who is Sean Kenny-Dowell. Well taken, though, by Gareth Rayner.
Sure was, under a lot of pressure. And you can see that the pitch is cutting up pretty badly out there. Just going down was Kenny-Dowell at the vital moment.
Good work from Moore to Clark. And infield it comes via tickle to David Hodgson. He plays the ball to John Clark. Here is Rooney. Rooney then to Gleeson. Gleeson gets the ball away. And a chance here for Paul Sykes. Oh, what a pass out the back door, Rooney. Oh, the ball is dislodged, though, in the tackle from Sam Perrott. Well, it's good in patches.
Great play.
That's the evidence I say often. Martin Gleeson's still the best centre in this country. He can do things like very few others, and his ability there to just get on the outside of Jones, get his arms free to sight. There's the end of the play when Rooney loses possession.
Keep working, guys. Just be careful.
Great combination. You'll be pleased with that, Tony Smith. Too happy about the scoreline. Remember, of course, he's utilising this as a build-up for the Great Britain squad.
Come on in the scrum, guys.
Wayne Bennett will be happy. Pretty slow start. Looked a little bit rusty, did the All Goals, but they've polished it, haven't they?
Well, if you look at those two pictures we've just shown of the coaching staffs of both the Northern Union and the All Goals, neither of them look terribly happy about anything. This is Perrott.
That's just coaches generally, Eddie, you know that.
Well, to be fair, Sean,
Two have a smile, Sean.
well, those two, it's very rare you see them smile, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Which is amazing with all the success.
He was smiling last week, Tony Smith.
Grimace.
And he's had plenty to smile about over the years as Wayne Bennett. Stacey Jones again. 2 minutes from the half-time siren.
Watch your hands.
Fayumu again, waits, dummy half.
Don't be surprised if the All Goals do something a little bit different, a little chip over the top.
Hands out, John.
Another strong run from Guttenbiel, that was. It's Fayumu again. Wiki. That's the last tackle. Now then, they're in drop goal territory here. Remember, 2 points for a drop goal tonight. No, they're running it with Fayumu again. Oh, that would have been an interception from Hodgson. But he put the ball down. He's furious as well.
Took the gamble, it was 2-on-1.
Well, he takes that in, it's a try.
Yep.
Yes, where I mentioned before, Nigel Vangener may not have got to the try line running 90 metres. I can guarantee you that David Hodgson wouldn't have got run down, but he's very, very quick. He wouldn't have got run down there.
Good job, he got a fingertip to it in the end, as Tammy Tupu would have been over in the corner.
In this round. Come on, Andy, let's go.
In some pretty exciting stuff offered from both sides. But late in this second half, you'd have to say the All Goals have taken control of the match.
Good hit by Paul Sykes.
This is where they'll set up for the one, I feel.
Fayumu will give it then to Thomas Luluai. They come back up the middle again, and it's the full-back Sam Perrott. They're right underneath the sticks now. They're looking for the three, though, with Guttenbeil. And Guttenbeil is held up by some good, solid Northern Union defence.
Had to be as well. He was charging through.
Stacey Jones is set. Oh, it's going to be a great try for the substitute, Greg Eastwood. All goals take a little stranglehold on this match right on the stroke of half-time. And Eastwood with the try. Greg Eastwood from the Brisbane Broncos club. Test debut against the Aussies at his home ground in the Anzac Test this year. And here is an excellent try for the All Goals.
They had the 2-on-1. Hodgson could not grab it in, so the intercept was off. And again, they're paying the price. You've got to make sure you get your man. They just bounced off him. Eastwood's upper body strength yet again, as we've seen on 2 occasions from Lauatiti. He'll enjoy that. He's got to do a lot of hard work as this fella. Solid. Look at the arms on him.
And he's only 20 years of age, by the way. 1 cap for New Zealand. But Stacey Jones from virtually exactly the same spot as he's kicked the other 2 successfully. And he could be giving the All Goals a 10-point lead here going into half-time. 2 from 2 for Stacey tonight. This should be 3 from 3, and it should be 15-5 in a moment. 15-5 it is. And there's the half-time siren. Well, Northern Union had the first try on the board after a quarter of an hour with Danny Maguire. It was converted by Rooney, who was banged under the sticks. But then the All Goals with 2 tries from Lauatiti, 1 right on the stroke of half-time from Greg Eastwood. And the Northern Union side with work to do in the second half. All 3 tries converted by the mercurial Stacey Jones. It's 15-5 to the All Goals at half-time in this Centenary International here in Warrington. We're at the Halliwell Jones Stadium for this Centenary International between the Northern Union, which in 1907 is what the Super League probably would have been called, and the All Goals, which in 1907 is what the New Zealand Tourists would have been called, and it's 15-5 to the All Goals at half-time. All going very well for the Northern Union. Danny Maguire with the try, and improved by Jamie Rooney. Going swimmingly for Tony Smith, in only his 2nd match in charge as Great Britain coach. But then Ali Lauatiti, who he knows very well, of course, got going. And right at the death, we had the 3rd try from the All Goals scored by Greg Eastwood. 15-5 it is at half-time. Tony Smith having to rally the troops, and Wayne Bennett, the international expansionist, as we called him in the first half, pleased to be here and just pointing out 1 or 2 things to maybe build on what they've got under their belts already after that first half. A 15-5 advantage at the half-time break for the All Goals. And as far as Tony Smith is concerned, perhaps a little worrying aspect here. All right, I know that the Northern Union is not the Great Britain Test side that he will turn out next week against the touring Kiwi side at Huddersfield, but this All Goals outfit, Sean McRae, showing exactly what they're like from that part of the world. They're big, they're physical, they're robust, they're up for the challenge, and at the moment they're winning the match.
Well, they are, and scorelines generally reflect what's happened, and the All Goals have had something like a 63% completion rate, and Northern Union are about 38%, which is terrible, really. And I think Tony Smith will be saying, look, you've created some opportunities, but you've also turned ball over in poor field position, and that just sends out an invitation to good players, and this All Gold side are made up of some very, very good players. I think Wayne Bennett saying, just go ahead and express yourself like you've done for 40 minutes. I think he's delighted with what they've done. They're not really showing the signs of fatigue yet, probably because they've had a lot more football and they haven't had to make as many tackles. If Tony Smith's team can reverse that trend in the second half, we may see the All Golds under plenty of pressure, but we really haven't seen that pressure yet. And I think that from a Great Britain point of view, I think the Northern Union team, to me, are showing that they're not coping with that pressure of maybe I might be selected in the squad if I play well. And I think some of them have over-tried, and yet I think other guys haven't quite got into the game. So you know, there's some individual challenges and objectives there for those players, and we might just see a different mindset in the second half from the Northern Union. I hope we do.
Yeah, I hope so, because we said, didn't we, before the game that perhaps a little bit of lack of match practice might be a problem for both sides. And bear in mind that the majority of this All Goals team, they've only flown in this week, so they've got a bit of jet lag there as well. But they've won the physical challenge.
Well, they have, and I can remember saying around about the 30-minute time frame in the game that you just got a feeling that the All Goals had lifted their intensity and had become more physical. You just saw them breaking through the line. They were just starting to get their bodies through, starting to offload the football. When you start to do that, that creates a lot of confidence, and consequently it also creates more opportunities. And you just didn't get the feeling that the Northern Union team were able to cope with that. They weren't coping with that physicality, and I said they've got to try and fight that sort of fire with fire. And you know, they've got enough players there that are capable of doing it, but you know, I think that's something Tony Smith may address at half-time.
Well, I know the Northern Union scored the first try, but there were warning signs for them very early on because the All Goals had a try chalked off, didn't they?
Absolutely, and look, there's nothing wrong with this rule. As I said before, the stripping rule is a bone of contention. It's so confusing, but clearly Louis Anderson gets the hand in. He knocks it forward first. David Hodgson knocks it forward. You've got to play the first knock on. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. Terry Newton's a brilliant pass to Sam Burgess, and Danny Maguire's going to perform a circus act here for us and juggle 1, 2, 3, and then too much pace, and that was the opening 5 points to nil to the Northern Union. Then David Kidwell back on the inside to Nigel Vangana, and bang from Danny Tickle. Look, that's reaction. It's not intended. He got wrong-footed. It's been placed on report, and I think that's fair enough. Gareth Rayner bounced across the field, tried to put Martin Gleeson through a hole. From that turnover, which was a scrum, from that turnover, Ali Lautiti was to get a simple ball from David Fomu. He hits, he spins, he accelerates, get out of my way, 17.5 stone, whatever he is, 6'5", just too strong from there, and we've seen him score plenty of tries. David Fomu again, couple of left foot steps, speculative offload, but
magnificent try this though.
Oh, absolutely. Thomas Lualai able to fend off Danny Tickle. Passed outside of Nigel Vangner, inside to David Kidwell, pops the ball over to Ali Lautiti. That is a confidence try. And just on half-time, when you think you might go in 10-5, Fayamu, too much room, too much space, caused by David Hodgson. He had to go for that intercept. He had to play for it. There's no doubt about it. If he takes it, he runs 80 metres and scored. But unfortunately, from the ensuing scrum, Greg Eastwood was just able again to hit and spin. And that's something that these all-goal players are doing very, very well. They're getting into the collision, but they're also finding a way out of it. And they're able to keep the ball alive or promote themselves. And we've seen Ali Lautiti do it to score. We've now seen Greg Eastwood do it to score. So they're very powerful players, and they deserve to be in front 15-5, no doubt about it.
Yes, they do. And Tony Smith with a little bit of work to do now.
Yes, I repeat what I said earlier. He'll say to his players, look, you haven't had enough football, you need to get some more ball, but you have created opportunities. So don't go away from what you're doing. The only thing out there, Eddie, that concerns me a little bit is it is slippery underfoot. And if it's slippery underfoot, it's going to be more and more difficult to control the football. So they're going to have to be a little bit more aware of that, I believe.
It's a little bit more savvy, maybe, from the Northern Union. They trail 3 tries to 1, 15-5. Can they come back in the second half?
Well, you can, but they need to turn that 38% completion rate into something like a 58 or a 68. If they do that, they'll probably win the game. Because if they do that, they'll put a lot of pressure on the All Golds. And you get a feel in the All Golds, while there's a lot of spirit in that Kiwi group, you still get the feeling that somewhere in this half there's going to be a fatigue factor will set in. It just has to with jet lag. I know there's a lot of experienced players, but jet lag can hit at different times. And I think while everything's going well for you, you're a great chance. But things start to turn a little bit, they'll be put under enormous pressure.
And when Stacey Jones is out there, anything can happen. I mean, the man is a genius,
yes,
isn't he?
Yes,
he really
he's a general. He's a general. He just conducts it like an orchestra. He knows when he wants the ball. He knows what direction to put people in. His kicking game probably hasn't been as good tonight as what we've seen in the past. But then again, he probably hasn't picked a football up for 6 or 7 weeks or something like that. So, you know, as has been the case with a few of these players, they're under a little bit of pressure because you're trying to bring a team together in a very short space of time to commemorate 100 years of international rugby league. And yet these guys have asked to come out and say, right, now play as a team, boys, away you go. Not easy on the coaching staff, not easy on the players, but I think they've handled it very, very well.
Yes, they have. And remember, 100 years ago, the touring Old Golds came to this country as pioneers, and they went home with a 2-1 success in the tests. So although this isn't a test and it's just a Centenary Celebration International, they do have their noses in front at half-time. What do the Northern Union have in the locker for the second half? A little bit more of this, maybe. Some great skill with ball in hand by Danny Maguire, but the Northern Union having to come from behind in the second half. Next Saturday, the 3rd and 10th of November, and of course intermixed and intertwined with all of that, we have the qualifying stages of the 2008 World Cup, which we will be bringing you here on Sky Sports as well. 40 minutes to go then of this Centenary International here in Warrington, and it's the Northern Union who will have first use of the football after the all goals have kicked off. That's Adrian Morley, the Northern Union skipper, who fully believes and understands that Tony Smith will likely give the job of captain to Jamie Peacock for the Gillette Test Series against the Kiwis. This is a bit of fortune for the Northern Union, because it's head and feet at the scrum to them, because there was a hand in there, probably by Greg Eastwood, was it, who knocked the ball on.
Just a little touch as Richard Moore was trying to offload. Well, let's hope that Tony Smith has put a bit of fire in the belly of this Northern Union side. They raced away to that 5-point lead and looked as though they had this game under control, and then the all goals with that sort of power and pressure.
Well, Owen Guttenbeil then attacked the football, knocked it forward, no question.
Wait.
No question that Owen Guttenbeil had an attack at the football then. That surely should have been a knock-on.
Move, Adrian!
Look, that wasn't a... That wasn't an...
Didn't attempt the tackle at all.
Tackle. That was
no, you're right.
Oh dear. It's Morley this time. Another high shot on Guttenbeil, and I wonder whether Adrian Morley now will go on report.
Anything, Steve?
Well, he'll have to. I'm afraid it was Tickle in the first half on Vangenaar. And Guttenbeil would have felt that.
Maybe the benefit of the doubt on the tackle before that.
Well, the Northern Union captain
Just have to be very careful.
is on report, says Ashley Klein. So that's worrying time for, well, certainly Morley and possibly Danny Tickle, who is one of the
He didn't miss him. Did not miss him at all. And there was a fair old hit with the head on the ground when he went straight down. Guttenbeil
You're the skipper, mate. Work hard.
did well to get up off the ground on that one.
The Northern Union might have a case of saying they should have been in possession at that point, because Guttenbeil certainly knocked the ball down in the tackle.
But it's no excuse,
No,
Eddie.
it isn't, you're right. Here's Stacey Jones. Now it's with the try scorer right on the bell of half-time, Greg Eastwood. And the All Goals looking to put this game to bed in the second half here early on, because I think they will run out of a bit of steam late on. This is Guttenbeil, great offload to Eastwood. Here is the full-back Perrott. And Perrott is brought to ground by Danny Maguire.
Here we are, guys. Andy, here we are. Go.
Vangenaar to Thomas Luluai. Ball flicked back to Eastwood again.
5 and last.
Last tackle here for the All Goals.
2 feet, Andy.
8 metres short of the line.
Go.
Fai Umu was the dummy half, and Stacey Jones with the drop kick. Misses. Well, he's had 2 shots, 2 misses. Should have scored this.
He's in a good position. And again, nobody there to apply any sort of
Make sure
pressure.
you keep your guys down. Play on.
Adrian Morley,
Knock on.
Owen, out of his face.
well, that is a shocker.
Well, when I spoke about 38% completion rate at half-time, we've now had 3 turnovers in 3 sets of 6 from the Northern Union team. So that clearly is going to take some improvement if they're going to get above that. It's very, very poor. They deserve to be scored against. It's just whether the All Goals now are good enough to take advantage of this situation.
Maybe they will, because this is Clinton Tupy. It was a mistake by Richard Moore. The ball, to be fair to him, was round his ankles. That's the second tackle that the Northern Union have weathered. It was the substitute Lauaki. This is Luluai. Thomas Luluai trying to burrow his way to the line. Good strong run. They physically look stronger than the Northern Union at the moment. This is Stacey Jones. Here is Guttenbeil.
Well, the problem
is stopped.
It appears the problem is the upper body strength. Every time the Northern Union go into the tackle, they get bumped off easy.
Eastwood looking for a second try. Held up, pushed back over the goal line. That's the last tackle. And here is Luluai. Luluai gets the ball down, does it? No, the referee wants Steve Ganson, the video referee, to adjudicate on this.
Has he got him down?
Could be. The Wigan man, the scrum half, playing standoff tonight. Looks like he's celebrating.
No, he's lost it. Luckily for the Northern Union, he has lost control of that, or has he? This is going to be a difficult one. Has he lost possession? Certainly loses control at some point, but does the fingertips get to it? I think this is going to be given. This is TRY time, and the Northern Union are in a spot of bother. They're in a huge mess. This will be given, I feel. Frame by frame, does it drop?
It looks as though it comes out of the back of the hand, but
from this one it looks as though he's lost it, doesn't it?
Definitely lost it on that one.
On that one, but on the other one, well, he had one denied. Anderson early in the first half was no try. What are we going to get on this one?
Steve Ganson's decision is no try again, and a 20-metre restart. Luluai deemed to have knocked on.
Boy, that was close, wasn't it?
He's right, John.
So the all goals denied again. Let's go to the sideline, because Bill has got Sean O'Loughlin, the Wigan skipper, alongside him. Bill?
Your club colleague Thomas Luluai is having a very good game, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit unlucky there. He's had a great first half. I hope he doesn't go too much better in the second.
And this Seoul Gold side seems to be getting better as the game goes on. It's getting harder and harder for the Northern Union, isn't it?
Yeah, we're making a few mistakes, and they seem to be getting on top of us. But I think if we put a few things right, hold on to the ball a bit better, we can start getting a bit fluenter in attack.
It's a difficult game, isn't it? There's no great atmosphere here tonight. It must be hard for the players.
Yeah, it is difficult when there's not a big atmosphere, but it's still a big game for everyone, and everyone's open to be involved in the series the following week, so everyone is still looking for big games, but it is hard under conditions like this tonight.
Sean, thanks a lot, and best of luck for the series ahead.
Cheers, thanks.
Wigan's sole representative in the Great Britain squad that's been named thus far. Tony Smith will whittle it down to his final squad in the morning, after he has taken stock of what's happening here tonight with some hopefuls.
Well, we keep pointing the finger, don't we, saying it's a good opportunity for them, but...
Anyone impressed you?
Well, I was impressed with Sam Burgess. I thought his opening 25-30 minutes was outstanding, both in attack and defence. There just doesn't appear to be any fire out there at all. That's in the Northern Union side.
Certainly is in the All Goals team. And here is Luluai. Will drift the kick behind Michael Platt, and Platt picks up. And look at the chase from the All Goals. Terrific, and led by Greg Eastwood. Rayner nearly away and clawed to the ground. Hodgson. Now Yeaman will have a little scamper away from dummy half. Just lost his footing at the vital moment. Finished off by David Kidwell.
That's going to be a penalty.
He's been told to release him.
Yeah. Now then, they should get it into the corner and build upon something here. You just get the impression that this Northern Union side, they look a little bit lost. You know, Jamie Rooney really has not injected himself to take control when he has done throughout this season at Wakefield. Maybe it's nerves, it's his first opportunity, but he's really got a few moments left now to stamp his authority.
Here's Sam Burgess.
2 feet, movement, 2 feet.
Gets the Northern Union to within 10 metres, and they're just trying to slow the ball down slightly. Maguire to Rooney. Rooney takes the responsibility himself, is halted by Loaki.
Wait, David.
Now it's with Maguire. Maguire then gives the ball to Tickle, and Kirk Yeaman puts another opportunity to ground. Well, he won't be impressed. He won't be impressed by what he's seen so far.
I don't think Mr. Yeaman's impressed either. Nothing wrong with the pass. He just had a little glance at Nigel Vangenaar coming towards him.
They'd worked so hard there to create the opportunity for the left wingman Gareth Rayner. Had Yeaman taken the ball, then Kenny Dowell had the big decision. Did he come in to challenge him or hang out on the wing? There was the space, they worked well on that, but physically, Eddie, you've mentioned it, they've just lost the battle. In fact, they were reliant on 3 outside backs to get them out of their own half with dummy half runs to penetrate through the hole before they got the penalty against David Kidwell. And they've just lost the battle in the middle of the field with the all goals big guys.
Yes, they have. And quick play the ball. And the hooker.
He's impressed with this fella. He really has had a good game. Quick round the ruck.
Fayumu will almost certainly be in the Kiwi Test squad. There's Gary Campbell, who is the new coach. Brian McLennan, of course, who will succeed Tony Smith at Leeds next year, has relinquished the reins, and it's Gary Campbell who is coming as the coach. Oh, dear me. Northern Union are getting themselves in a rare old tangle.
And that is force pressure. That's why the error is coming about. Good pass.
Great ball, and it's Yeaman who's got Maguire. Now, has Maguire got the pace to get away from Perrott? I think he probably has. And Maguire will go in for his second try of the match right underneath the sticks. Well, they've sprung from defence to attack. And it was a great pass out wide. It was a good run from Kirk Yeaman. It was great support from Danny Maguire. And Maguire goes over for his second try and breathes a little bit of life into the challenge for the Northern Union. Feeling the pinch, though.
They're under all sorts of trouble. Remember, they just dropped the ball backwards. Good play by Yeaman, but notice the positional sense from Danny Maguire. He knew he had the legs both in and out. That is clever rugby league football. And it's virtually a carbon copy of what he produced in the first half, back on the inside. And Tony Smith, the Northern Union coach, should be very pleased indeed that he told this man Sunday morning of all times, after the celebrations of picking up the trophy at the grand final at Old Trafford, that don't put your boots away yet, Danny. You will be playing tonight, and it's a good job that he is.
It is, because he's just come up with the second try for the Northern Union, and he's got tries in his last 2 test matches as well, against France in June and in Brisbane against Australia last November. Rooney adds the extras. It's 10:15. Well, it isn't. It's just after 7:30, but you know what I mean.
Well, that should be the lift that they needed. Just got caught on the outside there. Yeaman, very calm indeed, just drew the defence. See how Maguire weaves in and out. Just makes it very difficult. Running a straight line, it's just a speed race. But you can go in and out, it's very difficult to try to put yourself in a position to get the tackle in. Good work.
Northern Union get the ball out wide, get on the fringes of this all-goals team, and they have the beating of them. Taking them on up front, Sean, well, they're throwing the gauntlet down to the big physical all-goal players, and you know, they're picking it up, aren't they?
Absolutely, Eddie, but you see, just prior to that try, of course, there was a massive error that we all spoke about, where Gareth Rayner had to play the ball just a couple of metres from his line. Yet the players have come and backed themselves and shifted the ball, because the All Goals probably got a little bit too tight and didn't get numbers across to their right-hand side. So they took an opportunity there. And that's the sort of try that can actually gain you some momentum and a lot of confidence, and all of a sudden things can change for you. It's probably now that the All Goals have got to respond with some stronger defence and make sure they get their hands on the ball.
Here is Sam Burgess again.
I think they've also, you've got to use the big fellas running a little bit further out wide.
Ball's come free. Oh, it's a penalty. It's a penalty.
A bit fortunate there, I feel. Burgess may have lost control of this football. Still.
Now there were hands in there, is the view of the touch judge and the referee.
Ruben Wiki just had the right arm, but
good ball from Yeaman to Clark, and Burgess steps out of trouble, gets the ball back to John Clark. Here is Adrian Morley.
They've got to run at Stacey Jones. Remember, it was Burgess's run that broke through in the first half.
This is Rooney running at Stacey Jones, but there is support there from the hooker Fayumu. Now John Clark. John Clark on home turf.
He's got
the ball down. It's a try for the Northern Union, 2 in quick succession. And a chance with a kick here to level the scores. John Clark, a former Great Britain International Academy representative. And he's Warrington's only ever present this year. He went on the 96 Academy tour to the Southern Hemisphere, played 2 games against the Kiwis, and he's got on the end of this for the try.
You can see the arm of Ruben Wiki dislodging the football and from the penalty. Good work from Clark. He's had a good season. Good position also by Ashley Klein, the official. Shows at the dummy. Made the point. Go for the little fella, Stacey Jones. He came out of position. No way in the world he was going to stop this fella. Well, what a turnaround.
And great reward for John Clark on the representative scene. As I say, a former Academy international, has waited a long time, but he's coming on the back of arguably his best ever season in the game with Warrington this year. 11 tries for Warrington, 7 of them have come here in 2007.
Was Martin Gleeson playing under the old Northern Reunion rules there of 1907?
I'm not sure. Maybe he was. Rooney to kick the goal. He hopes to level the scores here. Jamie Rooney has kicked it. It's 15 all. Downstairs to Bill, news of Adrian Morley, Bill.
Well, it's incredible. Adrian Morley is still out there because, of course, as playing in the prop forward position that he is, you'd expect him to have had a breather by now, but he is still out there, and they've been out and asked him whether he's okay. Tony Smith wondering whether he needs a breather. Morley has said, no, I'm staying on, and now looks as though he might fancy going the distance here tonight. Incidentally, news that might interest Sean McRae up there, my spies in Carlaw in Ireland reporting on that 58-18 win for the Irish over Russia tell me that there were hat-tricks for the Irish from Damien Blanche and for Stuart Littler as well in that victory.
Stuart Littler, the Salford City Red, who is captain of the Irish Challenge in the World Cup qualifiers.
Yes, well, delighted for Stuart and, of course, for the Ireland team, and look forward to seeing their game against Lebanon in just a couple of weeks' time.
Absolutely. Can you imagine the party that will be being led now by Messrs McDermott and O'Connor?
Well, when are they coming back?
Well,
do we know?
Well, nobody knows.
Are they coming back?
Probably not. Dink over the top, inventive. And it gets its way in the end to Stephen Wild, and here is Morley. Now it's Rooney. They've got men wide on the overlap, and eventually it gets its way to Gareth Rayner, backing himself. Rayner flicks the pass to John Clark. John Clark keeps it alive to Maguire. Good stuff here. It's Wild again, and Wild has got Luluai on his back, but will keep those legs pumping on the last. Good play from the Northern Union. Here is John Clark, and Rooney will float the kick wide. And it's bouncing all over the place. The referee, though, says a knock-on.
That's the first real chance that we've seen. Jamie Rooney just look very confident indeed with a superb high kick into the in-goal area.
Paul Sykes was the man who knocked the ball forward.
Yeah, little doubt about that. He's claiming that it went back, but it's...
And Paul Sykes is the man who got a bang on the head, I think, who has got a few problems.
I must say, the fitness level of Ashley Klein has been quite extraordinary.
He's in the middle of the grand final last week. He lasted 80 minutes as well.
He's doing a fine job. Bit of a claret. Nice little chip over the top. They got back in numbers, and I must say, it looked as though they were going to get stretched here.
Would have done had the man not slipped.
Yeah.
Yeaman, wasn't it?
Yep.
Move! It's square! It's square!
It's important now that they lift up their defensive pattern, trying to force the all goals not to get over the halfway line when it does come to the last. Boy, he's a character, this fella, isn't he?
David Fayumu. He's going to be a handful in the Test series. Plays it on halfway. Here is a Clinton Tupi.
Good work. When you get a centre coming in and taking the responsibility just like a forward.
It's Gutenbiel. It'll be interesting to see him back in Super League with Castleford next year, as I said in the first half.
Michael Platt has not gone deep, expecting the chip over the top.
It's a high kick from Luluwai. And Rayner is after this. Spills. And it's play on, says the referee. The ball went backwards.
Came off the boot as well of Michael Platt.
Rayner not going anywhere. Good tackling again by the All Goals.
Vangenard had the first touch. Not so sure that he was advantage going to the Northern Union.
Morley plays the ball to Terry Newton. That's Rooney. And this is Gleeson. And Gleeson trying to get on the outside of Stacey Jones. Releases the pass, but straight into the arms of Clinton Tupi.
Well, he made the half break. Perhaps he would have been better served not to try to offload. It was heavy traffic there. Oh, great run.
Great run from Tami Tupu. Suddenly from defence, the All Goals are on the attack and hunting for points here. It's a drive forward by Stephen Price again. The token Australian in this All Goals lineup. Stacey Jones. Luluwai. Kidwell, the short ball, good tackle by Maguire. Helped out also by Stephen Wild. Jones, Luluwai, and here is Vangenaar. And Nigel Vangenaar is held up and in.
Dead in goal.
He's in touch, is he?
Yeah, with a tap on the 20. That's great defence. It was a little bit shoddy in the first half from the Northern Union boys. But you can see how they're squeezing across. That's good stuff. Tremendous effort. Thought it was in, Vangenaar.
This is Andy Coley, who will be playing for the Wigan Warriors in 2008.
Play it, Andy.
He'll make a difference, the guy that's in there, Terry Newton, messing around and play the ball.
Kidwell, the man who's been penalised.
They may be just running out a little bit of steam here, but that was good work also by the man Coley. Grabbed the leg.
Yes, it's not like Super League.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Steve-O, there. I think we've seen a turnaround, haven't we? I was certainly critical of the Northern Union. In the first 3 plays of the second half, they had opportunities for sets of 6. They turned the ball over, I think, on first tackles. Yet since then, they've actually controlled the ball very well. They've scored pretty much back-to-back tries. And that's what I was saying before. Sometimes it gives you the momentum. And how often in this game you see that a side that didn't look like they were capable of scoring, comes up with a try, then all of a sudden repeats the procedure, goes through the processes, and they look a completely different team now. They're playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of movement, and it's the All Goals that are under plenty of pressure. Defensively, certainly, they are starting to fatigue. There's no question about that.
They are, and 4 quick penalties for the Northern Union haven't helped the All Goals cause. Talk about back-to-back tries. They've had 4 penalties on the run. Have Northern Union. Here is Andy Lynch.
The one thing I'm making is that Terry Newton, you know, he'll control things out there. You've got to send someone out that's got the experience just to make sure that they camp down there.
Here's Yeaman, fed by Newton, and Yeaman gets the ball down. Northern Union hit the front, courtesy of Kirk Yeaman. He's not had the best of the years at Hull. Just 8 tries in 29 appearances. He hasn't scored for 4 months until that moment. He's taken a bit of a knock by the looks of things for the 3-pointer that he's just managed to score.
Well, I made the point today about the impact that Terry Newton would have. This is a great finish. See how Newton comes across. It makes the defence hesitate. And you can see that Thomas Luluwai just come out of the line, just enabled Yeaman to just skirt through. And Tony Smith, Northern Union coach, he'll be aware how important Terry Newton is. And this looks a little bit bad for the centre.
Yes, twisted the ankle, I think, in the act of scoring the try.
Eddie, Kirk Yeaman, I think, had an ankle problem in the Super League this year, and I think he missed several weeks. You can see there he's tremendous strength in scoring that try, but got caught awkwardly, and you can see him being assisted off the field there. I just hope that's not a recurrence of that, because I know that he missed, I think it was a lengthy time that he was off the field for. I'm not exactly sure how many weeks, but if that's a recurrence, then he could be in a bit of bother there.
He missed 3 in a row earlier this year, maybe with that ankle problem. Well, Rooney here now to add the extras. He just nudged the Northern Union ahead, but he's missed that. He's pushed it the wrong side of the posts. So it's 18-15 to the Northern Union. Remember, just to reiterate again, we're playing 3 points for a try, which the injured Kirk Eamon has just scored, and we're playing 2 points for a kick of any sort tonight. So Wayne Bennett's men, the All Goals, have to come from behind. And Paul Sykes is feeling the heat of the battle as well, by the looks of things. Stacey Jones restarts. Last quarter of the match, and with the penalties, with the tries, with the possession that the Northern Union have enjoyed, the All Goals certainly starting to blow a little bit heavier, aren't they?
And the Northern Union started controlling the game, and rightly so. They a little bit more composure to their play. The biggest problem for the All Goals is that they can't get hold of the ball. I think that they realise late in this final quarter, I think we'll see some fancy stuff from the boys in black. They'll keep it alive. It'll certainly be entertaining, I feel.
Clear.
Maguire, little dink ball over the top. Rooney is after this, and Rooney will hack it forward. That's inventive play. If Rayner can pick it up. Oh, the ball bounced over his shoulder.
I think he knows he should have taken it. A little bit of fortune. Rooney just hacks it through.
Doesn't it do some funny things, though? Look at that.
Yeah.
Second bounce, and how high?
It was great footwork, wasn't it?
Second bounce is higher than the first.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Go get the one there in fringe.
Chance goes begging.
They were kicking the conversion.
Michael Vines.
He was planting that ball down.
Danny, make sure you hold it. Danny, get closer. Danny.
Neat play, though. Little chip over. Two half-backs combining extremely well.
One. Move. Wait, go.
Louis Anderson was the dummy half. This is Ali Lawatiti, who was a real handful in the first 40 minutes. 2 tries from him.
In the last month, he seems to have found a level of aggression that we didn't see for a majority of the season, particularly again in the playoff games and the grand final, and here again tonight. I think when he gets angry, he plays at his best, and we know his skills. He certainly needs that level of aggression, I think, to just take him to the next level.
I feel I got the impression, you know, that in the early part of the season, he looked as though he wasn't enjoying the game of rugby league, was he?
We don't know, do we, off the field, what people go through, but he certainly, in the last couple of games we've seen him here on Sky Sports, has been again back to his best.
Oh, good work from Michael Platt.
Move.
Tied it up at the back well, and just with a little sidestep, the shimmy, he beat a couple of players there. This is Morley, the skipper.
Hands out!
He's had a good game, Michael Platt. Getting back to the form that certainly showed in the early part of this season with Bradford.
Nice stepping here from Stephen Wild, but Martin Gleeson ran in front of him, and Wild ran behind Martin Gleeson, so that is a penalty for obstruction.
Used him as a foil. You'll see it. Can't do that.
Not much in that, was there, when you see it on the second one?
Again, if you apply the letter of the law, Eddie, it probably is a penalty, but that's another one of those discussion points that will come up all the time about an obstruction rule. There was no player that was interfered with whatsoever there. There was no real obstruction. But again, according to the interpretation, it has to be given.
Well, they're lining up for this inventive little move from the restart, and that was Tami Tupu. And the big men again trying to force their way over the line. Northern Union trying to repel all borders. Even Price it was. And what's happened here? The referee wants to know as well, because he's going to hand this upstairs to the video referee. Louis Anderson believes he might have scored. Steve Ganson with another decision to make.
Well, the loose forward certainly came low. Quick thinking. That's a try. But is it on the line or is it just short? Ooh, that's hard to pick.
He's already had one try disallowed, one appeal for a try disallowed by the video referee tonight.
He's short.
That is short.
Yep. This won't be given. Well, we haven't had much luck as the video referee is concerned, but I'm with you, Eddie. This is no try again.
Louis Anderson, has he got the nod though from Steve Ganson? It's his opinion that matters. He has. Well, that looked all the world to be short of the try line, but Steve Ganson saw it another way to us. The referee of the year in 2007, just back from the international between Australia and New Zealand last weekend. He's got better eyesight than you, me and Sean and Phil. Steve-O?
Yep.
It's benefited the team that have travelled the farthest to be here today.
Maybe.
He's not even got it anywhere near. Well, you say he's the referee of the year, but on that showing, he's not the video referee of the year. That looked very short indeed.
Tries given, the All Goals back in front. Maybe, if Stacey Jones kicks this. And Stacey Jones has kicked it. So it's 20 points to 18. All Goals hit the front. Contentious. Steve Ganson giving them, well, must have been benefit of doubt, although it didn't come up on the big screen. His head was on the line.
It's supposed to be the ball, not his head.
Well, he could got it down there.
On a second effort.
Yeah. He's Lowacki again. Referee shouts held. And Banganar was the dummy half.
Well, this is something that they haven't had for a while.
That was.
The boys in black.
No,
And that is possession. And I think we can look forward to the final 30 minutes of a little bit of an exhibition here from the All Goals.
Well, now that they have the advantage again on the scoreboard, you might be right. There's Luluai. And when they just edge ahead, you can see their confidence goes up and their physical presence becomes more apparent. Stacey Jones with a kick, diagonal.
Superb stuff, isn't it?
Here is Gareth Rayner, and I wonder what the news is on Kirk Yeaman. Bill?
Well, the last thing a coach wants in a game like this before a test series is to pick up a serious injury, and there could be problems with Kirk Yeaman. The word is that it's an ankle ligament injury, and Tony Smith there, who I understand is due to let the players know what his final squad is tomorrow morning at the team hotel, will be concerned just how long it's going to take Kirk Yeaman to recover from that. I'm told it is the same area that was troubling him during the season, but it's not too serious, but ankle ligaments could cause him problems.
Good indeed, and the test series is only 3 weeks old. Nice little chip over the top from Rooney, well picked up by Hodgson, hacked forward, and Gleeson's after this. Martin Gleeson's after it, but that's well collected by Chase Stanley. Chase Stanley living up to his name there with a great chase back.
Oh, he just got a fingertip to it. He did exceptionally well there. Well, that was wonderful rugby league from both sides. Can I give credit for them to get that back into the situation? It looked as though it was going to be a try there for Gleeson.
11 minutes to go, and the All Goals ahead by 20 points to 18.
What a great take there. Chase Stanley put his body in between. Oh, they've come up with the error. Northern Union have picked up possession.
Kidwell with the error. The Northern Union have the ball back, and inside the opposition half with Burgess. Ooh, that was a big hit on Burgess.
Did have fell that. Good hit, wasn't it?
Here's Paul Sykes.
He's put some big hits in, you know, this Sam Burgess. Only a young kid.
And Kidwell with a dislocated finger that needs putting back in place. Lynch for the Northern Union.
You know, I'm going to put my neck out on here. You know, I think that this Sam Burgess, despite his inexperience at international level, oh, he was nearly through. Rooney. I'm just going to make a point here. I think Tony Smith will put this young kid in the squad.
Well, he didn't make the French test in mid-season because I think they believe that at 18 it wasn't a question of him being given the chance too soon, just allowing him a little bit more time to develop.
Although he's only 18, he acts, behaves and plays like a 28-year-old man, doesn't he? If ever you see him, his performances this season have belied his age, and in fact he'd be very similar to Andy Farrell, wouldn't he, entering the international arena about the same stage?
Absolutely. Andy Farrell was 18 years and 5 months. This fella's 19 in December, so he's a little bit older than Andy Farrell was when he made his test debut, but will be one, if he does get the nod of Tony Smith, one of the youngest ever Great Britain forwards. Let's hope he does.
Well, he's got to be over. His tackling count must be well over 20. I think he did 14 and 15 in the first half. I think he was replaced 10 minutes before the break. He's done some good stuff with the ball in hand.
This fella's a bit of a menace, isn't he? Loaki.
Terry, just go out.
Here's Louis Anderson. Here is Stacey Jones again. Just pumps the ball down the corner, looking for Tami Tupu, but just a little bit too strong. Of course, back at the scene of arguably his and the Catalan Dragons' greatest triumph in 2007, Stacey Jones, when they beat Wigan here in the Challenge Cup semi-final to take them to the new Wembley. All right, the new Wembley performance against St Helens wasn't all that they would have wanted it to be, but the mere fact that they got there, what a marvellous stride forward for the French club.
Outstanding. And let's hope that all the players from both sides give him a wonderful farewell. He deserves it.
Over the top to Adrian Morley, and Stacey Jones was looking to nick the ball from him. Here's Richard Moore. Good offload to Newton. Oh, Newton then to Clark, he went without it. Ball is flicked in field, and Andy Lynch retains possession for the Northern Union.
Inside, that's fine.
And Clark, left-footed, downfield. Perrott, the fullback, picks it up. Morley hangs on to him. Perrott gets away from him, can't get away from Rooney though.
You're fine.
He's chased Stanley again.
Good work by Paul Sykes as well.
2 points in it. We've got 7.5 minutes remaining.
And let's not forget that the drop goal is 2 points, so we could finish up with a draw.
Amazing. It's taken you 72 minutes to call for it.
He's got it. Wait,
and you haven't really called for it yet.
I did it in the first half, and they called it one. Great tackle.
It was an excellent tackle, that. Jamie Rooney it was on Clinton Tupi. And here is Eastwood.
Well, if the all goals get anywhere near the try line, you'd have to put your house on the fact that Stacey Jones will finish with a flourish. Throw a dummy, kick through.
Play on.
Well, here he is. There is the kick through. And will it run just too deep? Yes, it will.
I'm dead.
Oof. Steady. That was Thomas Lulawai aquaplaning, looking for the ball to touch down. And straight into a speaker, I think.
Eddie, a lot of people watching this game tonight might wonder why we've been held up for 20-metre taps. I'm assuming we're playing on the old rule, or the international rule, I should say, which is, you notice that Ashley Klein is telling the attacking team they have to wait until he gets back in a position. In the Super League, we're just been saying, we've seen a player go up, take a quick tap and play on.
So in the international series that we're going to see over the next 3 weeks,
2 points for a goal.
It won't be like that.
Well, I'm assuming that if we're playing that tonight under international rules, then that's going to be played in the test match. I guess we need some clarification on that. But every 20-metre tap tonight, every 20-metre restart has been slowed down.
I think the players might have welcomed that, Sean, somehow.
Well, they probably have, but I think it's more been the Northern Union team have been very, very keen to get there and take it on, and where the All Goals have been, they've almost accepted, well, we think that's the rule anyway, isn't it?
Oh, and Richard Moore loses possession. The All Goals have it back. I can't really understand why we have sets of rules at international level and sets of rules in the NRL and
don't
different
get me on
sets of
that.
rules in the Super League, Sean.
I've been screaming for that for years and years and years.
Why don't we just play under one set of rules universally?
I totally agree. We saw one in the grand final, did we, last week, with the 20-metre tap where they tried to kick the 40-20. Or sorry, just tried to kick the ball out. And of course, we don't have that law in Super League, where St Helens tried to do it.
But I've got to point the finger at the likes of Sean McRae, the coaches. No, because you guarantee each year the coaches will have these meetings with the referees and they'll say, you know, we should stop this and we should stop that.
Yes, I agree. We do. There's a lot of discussion goes on, and we do talk about parallels between the Australian game and the Super League.
Stabbed to the corner and picked up by Hodgson.
Neat little work, wasn't it, by Stacey Jones, just running that blind side.
4.5 minutes to go, 2 points the difference. All goals looking to strike a little marker for the Kiwis, and well, it's cold enough here tonight, and Kirk Yeaman's got his foot in a bucket of ice to try and take the swelling down from the ankle ligament damage that he has picked up in scoring that Northern Union try not too long ago.
Wayne Bennett has thrown on the hooker, David Fayumu.
Last from Newton to Paul Sykes. This is Burgess again.
They've got to get into a good position. They're a pretty long way out for the last one. I don't think anybody could go for a 2-point, should I say, here.
Rooney with the kick downfield, fielded by Tami Tupu, the man that Bradford brought in mid-season to replace Leslie Vinacolo. It was in June. This is Perrott again. Here's the hooker once again, Fayumu. Well, if they hang on for this, is it a little bit of a psychological blow for the Kiwis for the Test series to come?
Well, it certainly helped the countrymen, won't it? Well, there'll be a relieved Northern Union coach and Great Britain coach, of course, Tony Smith. Is the fact that the boys in white in the second half, they've dug deep, they've produced some good stuff. They had to. It looked as though the game was slipping away.
It's the last tackle here, and Luluai with the deep kick. And that's going to stay in the in-goal area. Here is Gareth Rayner. Length of the field try required. Gets the ball away to Michael Platt, who throws it to nobody. And Rooney tidies up and just manages to keep the ball the right side of the whitewash. Well, they're not going to score. Well, if they're going to win this match, they've now got to score an 80-metre, 100-metre try. And they now are going to have to drop out from underneath their own sticks.
Well, he's had a solid game throughout, Michael Platt, but see there that he's slipping and sliding. It has been a problem.
Yeah, I think Dave Hodgson made himself available, didn't he? I bet he's called that ball, and as he's called it, he's just gone. I wonder if we'll see a short dropout here.
Let's wait. That's all right. It's gone short.
Well, it's found touch, but it didn't go 10 metres, so it's a penalty under the sticks to the All Goals.
He's got to travel 10 metres.
You called it, Sean, but sadly the call was better than the way it was performed.
Yeah, the execution here is just.
I think they'll tap this.
Just hasn't quite gone 10.
On the line, guys.
Drop goal.
I'd keep the ball in play.
And they have Fayumu looking to pinch a 3-pointer, never mind the 2 for the penalty. There is still the option, of course, of the drop goal for 2, with 2 minutes remaining.
Play on.
It comes back untidily to Stacey Jones, and it went backwards, says the referee.
Pretty fortunate there, just slipped through the fingertips.
Here's Perrott now, Ruben Wiki.
Well, it's intercept time now, but will the All Goals bother about trying to get it out wide?
Well, Thomas Luluai is back here, so too Stacey Jones. Maybe the drop goal here to seal it. Stacey Jones, no, they're running it. Great ball, great try. It's Clinton Tupi, and that will seal it for the All Goals. They were maybe watching and waiting, the Northern Union, for a drop goal attempt. But Tupi came back on the inside, a lovely ball into his arms. And Clinton Tupi, the Leeds Rhino, over the line for a match-winning try.
This is the attempt. Not a good one, I might say. And from the tap, We knew that Stacey Jones would leave the international, the club stage, any rugby league stage for the final moment, and he will have enjoyed that just as much as Clinton Tupy has dived in for the three-pointer. Beautiful delayed inside pass. This guy knew exactly what was going to come from the mercurial halfback Stacey Jones. And what a way to finish your career. Create the try and tag on the 2 points.
Very much so. And leaving the field, if he does kick this, with a 100% success rate with the boot. This for 5 from 5. It was never in doubt. 25 points to 18. The All Goals have won. There's the final siren. And there is delight on that touchline over on the far side. And delight for him, Stacey Jones. Clinton Tupy with the try in the last minute. They scored a try in the last minute of the first half through Greg Eastwood. They scored a try in the last minute of the second half through Clinton Tupy at the All Goals. 2 from Ali Lauatiti. And I know this is possibly the shadow squad for the New Zealanders in the forthcoming Test series, but there is a message here for Great Britain that no matter what level these Kiwis play at, they come and they come to win.
Without a doubt, and I must say, Eddie, that forget about the thrashing that they received at the hands of the Australians last weekend. It will make the Kiwis even more determined. This is a psychological lift for the people in the black.
Let's get down to the pitch and hear from the man himself, Stacey Jones. He's with Bill.
Stacey, for a one-off historical game, that was quite a challenge, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was very tough. We made it hard on ourselves in the second half, but you know they came out and did what we did in the back end of the first half early on. So yeah, we come away. We got the win, and that's all that matters. Yeah.
Well, you're wearing the fern, you're wearing the black. Okay, you're the All Goals, but when it comes down to it, you're representing your country.
Yeah, we are. You know, it was a fantastic week with these boys and playing under Wayne Bennett and all that. You know, was brilliant. We really enjoyed ourselves and for the occasion, the celebration of what happened 100 years ago, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those blokes. So, brilliant.
Absolutely, and to sign off your career on this sort of note must be great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, I was a little bit sad to finish up, but you know, coming here and doing it like this, yeah, it's good.
Already, people are saying, "Oh no, more comebacks than Frank Sinatra. He'll be back," but this is it for definite.
Yeah, no, this is it. Yeah, no, I've set myself up for a long time for this, only the last couple of months, and no, that's it.
And the body obviously telling you that enough is enough.
Yeah, you know, I hobbled around out there today, and but yeah, that's enough. You know, I'm looking forward to getting home, and I can't wait.
Now, a lot of the guys obviously heading off for the Test series. With your experienced international cap on, what do you reckon for the series ahead?
Well, I think it's going to be very exciting. You know, the Kiwis got a young team. And the Poms are going to be very tough here at home. So, you know, it's going to be a great series. Hopefully, a lot of people will get along to the games.
It's going to be hard to sit at home and watch it.
No, I don't think so. I will enjoy it.
Stacey, thanks very much. Best of luck in retirement and all the best.
Thanks, Bob. Cheers. Thank you.
He's been a credit to the game over the years, and here's a young man who will be a credit to the game in the future, Sam Burgess. He has given the Northern Union a little bit of consolation with the fact that he is the man of the match. Phil Clark, Steve-O said that Tony Smith might just throw this youngster into the Test arena. What say you?
I hope he's involved with the squad for this Test series. I don't necessarily need that he has to play in any of the games. I think he still has a massive future ahead of him. And when you look at the player called Stephen Price, who played for the All Goals today, at 33 years of age, he's just had his best ever season. And it just goes to show that, you know, there's 15 years ahead of Sam Burgess. We don't need to burn him out too soon. And let's hopefully, for him, his own sake, that his physical and game development takes place slowly but gradually.
Sean McRae, the Kiwis beaten 58 points to 0 just a week ago by the Australians. The All Goals have come here and they have beaten the Northern Union. A little bit of pride restored. A warning sign for Great Britain and Tony Smith?
Well, look, possibly, Eddie. It's hard to gauge that. I mean, you look at this all-gold side, and there's certainly a lot more cohesiveness about them than there was about the Northern Union team. There's a lot of players out there playing for the all-golds who had played together before. There's unity there. We saw it in the haka. We saw it with the huddles that they had when they scored tries. They're very excited, very passionate. So I think spirit's got them through there. There's any doubt about that. As far as the lead up to the Test series, I just think it gives Tony Smith an opportunity to look at some younger players and see who handle it. There's guys out there tonight didn't handle the pressure. There's some players that did. I fully endorse the recommendation from Steve and from Phil about Sam Burgess. I've got no question whatsoever. There's a star of the future internationally there, no doubt whatsoever.
Well, the players will receive their commemorative medals for this Centenary International, and we talked about him in the match as an expansionist, the great Australian coach Wayne Bennett. He's talking to Bill.
You must be proud to be associated with an occasion like this.
Yeah, I am. I was really proud to be here tonight, and it was a great occasion, and I think the football game was excellent as well, so everybody was a winner.
And I mean, you'll appreciate the significance of this, to reach this landmark.
Yeah, well, I do. That's why I took the job. It was important to me. I love the game and all the things about it, and I thought it was a way of paying respect to those that have gone before us and given us what we have today.
I think the players did it justice.
They certainly did. Played in a great spirit, and it was some wonderful football, and you couldn't ask for much better.
I think you're meant to be up there getting a medal.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, he is. Bill letting him go, and Wayne Bennett making his way up the steps to join his players. He'll be there in a moment. A great occasion. Good to be part of it. But Steve-O, the warning bells for Great Britain, no question in my mind. This Kiwis team, we saw them out there with the All Golds. They're a big lot, and they are physical, and they're going to give us a real Test series.
They certainly are, and we really have to be 100%, even more. We've got to ensure there were periods in that game when the Northern Union, and I'm sure that Tony Smith is fully aware of all that, is that you must make sure that if you're going to get the impact, you saw the upper body strength that we're seeing in the guys who played in black tonight was far superior to what we have. And we have to make sure that we not only match them in the battle up front in the forwards, we could perhaps struggle in the three quarters, especially with Yeaman being injured.
Well, Stacey Jones is definitely 100% retiring at the end of this match tonight, and he's going to actually make sure he does, because the boots that he's now unlacing are going to be taken to the middle of the pitch, where a member of the RAF team who played the Kiwi counterpart in the curtain raiser to this match will be waiting for him with a ceremonial cushion, and the boots will be placed on them, and that will be the end of it as far as Stacey Jones is concerned.
And what a credit to the game of rugby league this guy has been. One of the nicest chaps you will ever wish to meet.
Well, there's no cushion, but the boots are thrown away. That's the last time that we will see Stacey Jones in a pair of rugby boots, and that is a great shame, but he has come to the end of it all. And now we're going to have the haka in celebration of Stacey's career, and in celebration of the Kiwi Tour, and in celebration of the pioneers that we're here tonight to recognise and celebrate. Especially for Stacey, it's especially for all of us. And Ruben Wiki and Stacey Jones embrace, and all of the Kiwi tourists were there as well. It's an emotional moment for this great old stager of the game.
Certainly is, and what a fitting tribute to, of course, Albert Baskerville, the man that had the foresight. He had the courage to bring the All Golds to this country 100 years ago.
Ruben Wiki with the speech. And one or two tears as well down the cheeks of Stacey Jones as they say farewell to him. They're a tight-knit bunch, the Kiwis. The tourists are out there as well with the All Goals. There'll be no Wiki, there'll be no Stacey Jones, there'll be no Nigel Vangenaar in the Test match series to come, but these New Zealand internationals will pose, as I say, a mighty, mighty threat to Tony Smith and the Great Britain team. Emotion for Stacey Jones tonight.
Certainly is, and I don't know what national awards the New Zealand government have, but surely he must be in the running for something significant, because he has been a wonderful asset to the game of rugby league. And there is the cushion. They finally got them there.
And the RAF man in dress uniform. The white boots of Stacey Jones will be seen no more. Well, not in his feet anyway. They might find their way into an exhibition somewhere around the world, perhaps. But the players now form a guard of honour as Stacey Jones leaves the rugby league scene for the very last and final time. He has come back. He's come back many, many times at both club and international level, but that's the last time that Stacey Jones will be seen on a rugby field. The Great Britain boys as well helping to form that Guard of Honour, or the Northern Union team as they are here tonight. So there we are, match over. Stacey Jones leaves the scene a winner, as I suppose we should have expected, and we'll reflect on this a little more when we return. Well, the All Golds have won this Centenary Celebration International, 25 points to 18. And, well, one or two lessons maybe learnt for the Great Britain coach for the next 3 weeks, Tony Smith. He's talking here to Bill.
Tony, you'll be disappointed with the defeat, but positives you can take out of that?
Oh, yeah, lots of positives. We learned a lot tonight. I'm sure some of the players will be better for the run as well. Some of them haven't played for some weeks, and, you know, that showed at times, and we're a little rusty in some areas. So, you know, good for them to have a blowout, but learned some about, you know, what we need to do and get ready for as well.
It did get better as it went on, didn't it, as a contest?
Oh, yeah. We showed a bit of, you know, pride and heart and in the second half there, and got back into a position where I think we could have won it. You know, we'd taken a couple of chances and a couple of bounce balls, and, you know, if we had have done that, well, could have easily been a different scoreline. But, you know, I like some of our creativity when we... But I'll also say that we pushed a few passes, didn't quite complete enough, but, you know, that was a game to find that out tonight. So, you know, I found out a bit about our players.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
He'll take a lot of positives out of the game. He always does, Tony Smith. It's a bit of a come-down for him, though, isn't it? After the euphoria of Old Trafford just a week ago, and here he is now on the wrong side of a scoreline against the All Golds. I think the one thing, Sean, that he will know as a result of this match tonight is that he has got a big task ahead of him over the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely, and the Kiwis, of course, are going to arrive with a... coming off a thrashing by the Australian side, but they did have a man sent off, Steve Matai, who won't be touring. I think he's had post-season surgery now. But
they will really want to.
Well, they will. I think the Test series is evenly matched. I don't think we should take too much out of tonight's game with this Northern Union team. I think there's a lot of players there who you know, it's not a scratch team, but you're putting a side together and and you're putting some inexperienced players together with some experienced players that don't play at the same club. And as I said before, the cohesive factor was always going to be with the All Golds team, because you look down their lineup and you thought test player, ex-test player, experienced man. They'd all played together before, either for the Warriors or for the Test team, and I just thought they handled it just a little bit better. But I wouldn't be too concerned by what I saw out there tonight, because I don't think that there's going to be too many in the 17 tonight that are going to be in the 17 next week when we see the first test at Huddersfield.
Well, Tony Smith will be tomorrow announcing his squad for this Test series. I think, Steve-O, Terry Newton will have to be a shoo-in, don't you, at hooker? I know that they've got the man of steel, James Roby, waiting in the wings, but maybe Newton to start and Roby to do what he does for St Helens off the bench. And Sam Burgess, you've been very impressed with him tonight, haven't you, the young prop forward?
Not only just tonight, but throughout the entire season. And I you know, I don't take on board all this about we've got to nurture these youngsters to bring them through. Look, this guy's been battered throughout the Super League all season. He got battered tonight, but he gave them something back. Well over 20 tackles. You can't ask more than that. It's not a matter of saying, oh, we'll nurture them and come them through. Look, this kid's ready. This is not all about it. He had the opportunity. We said before the game kicked off, there were quite a few people out there could have an opportunity to get into that Great Britain squad. And that lad has rolled up the sleeves and said, hey, look at me. Forget about his age. It's his ability. And the kid is bursting with pride and he's got tremendous ability. Select him.
Well, they might do because there's no Stuart Fielden, of course. He's not been selected by Tony Smith. 6 and 7 very quickly, Sean. Maguire or Price, and presumably Burrow.
Well,
these are the key areas.
If we think Rob Burrow's in the side and then talk about the 6, Danny Maguire did nothing wrong tonight. He scored a couple of tries, didn't he? And I thought he was very safe, and I thought he looked for creative. Leon Price, of course, has done it before, and he's very powerful. I don't know. Maybe the Maguire-Burrow combination is the way to go because there's a familiarity there.
We shall see. The announcement due, of course, tomorrow. There we are then. The international season's underway. See you next week.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating. The newspapers shout.
Good ball that from Newton. Great burst here from Lynch. Support both ways. Maguire! Oh, he just manages to hang on. And Maguire goes over under the sticks. Look at this from Luluai. Thomas Luluai. Oh, he's got away from Platt. A beautiful ball to Bangalore. Even better to Kidwell. Even better to Lauer-TT. Fantastic try. Here's Yeaman fed by Newton, and Yeaman gets the ball down. Stacey Jones, great ball, great try. Clinton Tupik, and that will seal it for the All Goals.
More sport, news and views at skysports.com.